Hey, what's up? My name is Daniela and welcome to a new video. So a quarter of the year is already gone, and so it is a good opportunity to look at how our reading looked in the first quarter, look at those goals we set at the beginning of the year, and generally have a good time. So I was really excited to see that a new tag has emerged that is tackling exactly these questions. So it is the Quarter Year Crisis book tag, and it was created by Roshin's Reading, and I was tagged by Aoife from Pretty Purple Polka Dots. So I will leave both of their videos in the description. Definitely check both of their channels because they are amazing. I'm going to expand the tag a bit, and I'm going to talk more in general about the first quarter of my reading year and also about how my goals are going. But yeah, let's jump into the questions. So question number one is, how many books have you read so far? So I have read 11 books this year, which is not something to sneeze at, but also it's quite low for my standards, and my goal is to read 60 books this year, or it was a goal at the beginning of the year, and now Goodreads is screaming at me that I'm 5 books behind schedule. So we will see about that. Question number two is, have you already found a book you think might be a 2022 favorite? If not, what was your favorite book you read that wasn't quite 5 stars? Okay, so last year was actually horrible for 5 stars. I think I had like 3 5-star reads for the whole year, and this year is already so much better. So I've already had some 5-star reads. I don't know if I can choose just one book, but yeah, I'm just going to briefly talk about some I have really loved so far. So the first book I read this year, and that ended up being 5-star, was Act Your Age, Eve Brown. So this is the 3rd book in the Brown Sisters series. I loved Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and I loved Take a Hint, Danny Brown even more. And in this we follow Eve, who is the youngest sister, and her parents kind of tell her that she has to get a job and actually kind of get a grip on her life, and she starts working at this B&B, and there is Jacob, who they don't really get along at the beginning, and there's autism rep, and the romance is great. I really love this. So Take a Hint, Danny Brown is still my favorite volume from the series, but this was such a good conclusion to the series, and I loved Eve as well. And now I just want to read Chloe again, and then maybe read Danny again, and on. So yeah, this was great, beginning of the year. Then another book that was 5 stars and I loved it was Loveless by Alice Oseman. So this is a young adult contemporary about a girl named Georgia, and she goes to university, and it's basically a lot about identity, uncertainty and struggles, but also then coming to terms with it and good things happening. So this was really amazing. It made me really emotional, and yeah, I loved it. Another book that ended up being 5 stars is One Last Stop by Casey Mckristen. So Casey Mckristen is the author of Red, White and Royal Blue, which I absolutely adored. It was one of my favorite books in that year I read it, and this was very different actually. So Red, White and Royal Blue was a male-male romance with a lot of politics in it, and I think the tone was quite lighthearted, although there were also heavy things discussed. But this was very different in the tone. It was kind of more quieter story, and the atmosphere was more dreamlike. There were sci-fi elements, so it took me a while to get used to it and to the idea that I'm not going to fly through it. It was more of a novel to savor and take slowly, which I wasn't really patient to do, but I ended up really loving it. It's a romance between 2 young women, and one of them is stuck in time. This book actually talks about politics as well, but I just felt that the overall atmosphere was quite different. But yeah, I ended up loving both of the books by this author, and yeah, I can't wait to read more. Okay, and one more 5-star book. So we have Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. So I was a bit nervous about this book because I read Martian a few years ago. I loved it. Then I didn't read Artemis, and I heard bad reviews about it, and so this kind of sounded similar as Martian, so I was hesitant to pick it up. I wasn't sure if it's going to be as good, and in a way it was super similar, but it was also quite different. So yeah, it was similar in the way that there is a person kind of stuck in space, but there was some completely different elements that I won't spoil. So there are two timelines in this book, and one timeline is we following the man being in space, and the second one is set on Earth, and it's about everything that led to him being there. And one thing I will say is that there is amazing friendship, so I really like that. I also really love the science parts. That was amazing, and I mean, I was completely on board with that because, like, I don't know a lot about chemistry and physics, but I saw some reviews that the science was actually pretty solid, and yeah, I was completely on board with all of it, except for, like, there were some linguistic bits and that I felt were maybe a bit far-stretched, but nonetheless I really enjoyed this book, and it definitely exceeded my expectations, which is always nice. And yeah, this will probably end up in the top books of this year, so yeah, I'm really glad I picked it up. Then we have question 3, and that's any 1-star books or least favorite books of the year. So I don't have any 1-star books, and I don't have any 2-star books. The lowest rating I've given this year is 3 stars, which is not bad in my book. But yeah, a book that was unfortunately a bit disappointing is Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shannon Mcguire. So this is the 3rd book in the Wayward Children series, and this is a young adult portal fantasy series about kids who go to worlds that are specifically catered to them, and then they are kicked out, and now they are dealing with it, but at the same time we are also visiting the worlds again with them. So I had high hopes about this one. I gave the first 2 4 stars, and I adore this cover, and for some reason I just thought that I would love this book the most. I don't know why, because I would probably be like in some more logic-oriented world, and this was like nonsense world. And it wasn't even high nonsense, but yeah, I still struggled. There was a character that belonged in a logic world, and she had to spend some time in this nonsense world, and she was talking about how exhausting it is, and I was just like, yeah, I can relate. So yeah, I guess I haven't found my world within the series. I will still continue with the next volumes, so I hope that some of the next ones will be more enjoyable for me. Question number 4 is most read genre so far. So that is quite clear. I have read 6 contemporary, 3 fantasy, and 2 sci-fi. So contemporary is in the lead. I also haven't read any of my other big genres like non-fiction, so it will be interesting to see how the stats evolve, but yeah, for now it's totally contemporary. Question number 5 is a book that surprised you. So one book that surprised me was the Cybernetic Tea Shop by Meredith Katz. So I only added this book on my TBR because it had a SCRIBD, and I mean, it sounded intriguing. So it is about an autonomous robot living in the future, and then there's engineer. So it's kind of like female romance, and I was expecting it to be more like quirky, and it ended up actually like a kind of quiet, sweet story about these 2 characters and their backstory. So yeah, it is a very short novella, and I flew through it and I very much enjoyed it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it as a short read that has good rep as well. Question number 6 is a book that's come out in 2022 already that you want to read but haven't yet. So I have some books that actually come out in April, but they will be out by the time this video goes up. And I have The No Show by Beth O'Leary. So I previously read The Flat Chair by Beth O'Leary, and I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved it, so now I want to read everything by Beth O'Leary. I already have one other ebook, but yeah, this is a new book. I don't know much about it, but it is an adult contemporary, and I think there is like some guy who doesn't go on the dates that he sets or something like that. I guess it's partially comedy, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And then I have The Romantic Agenda by Claire Kann. So Claire Kann is the author of Let's Talk About Love, which is a young adult contemporary with ace main character, and this is an adult contemporary. I think it's adult romance with ace main character, so that sounds delightful. And then questions 7 and 8 are about goals. So question 7 is one goal you made that you're succeeding at, and question number 8 is one goal you made you need to focus on. So at this point I'm just going to tell you how all of my goals are going. So I've already mentioned that I'm 5 books behind my Goodreads goal, so that's not going great, but I have other goals that I am doing better with. So I also have a goal to finish 6 series, and I've already finished 2 series. So I have finished the Brown Sister series and the King of Scars duology. So yay, that's 2 off. 4 more to go. Then I have a goal to read 6 books with ACE-REP, then 6 books with BI-REP, and 6 books with physical disability rep. And this is a bit hard to quantify. I think I'm going to decide like later on which books I'm going to include, because like obviously with identities and experiences the characters can just exist and it doesn't have to be a big deal in the book. But in this case I want to choose some books that deal with it a bit more within the book. So yeah, I have written down 3 books that deal with ACE-REP, and that was Loveless, The Cybernetic Tea Shop, and Beyond the Black Door. So far I haven't written anything down for BI-REP and physical disability. I have read some books with that rep, I think at least with BI-REP, but yeah, I haven't decided which books I'm going to choose, so that's kind of ongoing. And then we have Get My Physical TBR under 6. So I think I started with over 30 books on my TBR, and the majority of the books I read so far were for my physical TBR, and now I'm at 22, which is a pretty good number. I think I can do it unless I get super distracted by ebooks or library books, or I get a lot of new books, so we'll see, but this one is going pretty well. And then I have a goal to get my Netgally TBR under 6, which I'm much less sure it's going to happen. I'm currently at 16, which is a lot, and I'm not excited about some of them. So can I read 10 or 11 more books from my Netgally TBR? I'm not sure. I might try to do some like trial chapter tag or something, which I've already done in the past, and it really motivated me to actually read the books. So we'll see about that. And then my final goal was to finish all of Jane Austen novels, and I still need to read 3, which are Persuasion, Northanger Abbey and Mansfield Park, and no progress on that so far. But yeah, I'm also feeling very positive about that, and it is happening this year. So yeah, that's how my goals are going. So yeah, that was my long-winded reply to questions 7 and 8. And then we have question number 9, which is new to booktubers, bookstagrammers, booktalkers for 2022 you recommend. So it's funny that there's also TikTok, because I'm still resisting TikTok. Like I know I could go there and create there and watch people there, but I'm just really hesitant to get another platform. So yeah, no booktalkers. And I haven't been watching booktube or new people super much because I've been really busy, but I have found one new person at least, and that's Shannon from 155 Books. So we did a live show together with we were invited by Aoife from Pretty Polka Dots. So yeah, that's how I met her, and she's lovely, and she makes bookish but also lifestyle kind of personal development content, so that's definitely something I enjoy a lot. So yeah, definitely check out her channel. And yeah, those are all the questions for this tag. I won't be tagging anyone because I don't know how it will work time-wise, so it might be a bit too late, but also it's never too late. So if you want to do this tag, I would be really interested in hearing your answers. Let me know your thoughts, or how you're doing with your goals, or how has your reading been in the comments. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!